Hey guys, today we're going to go over reflections, and before we get started I want to touch on a few things. Remember, the copy of the notes for this is in Google Classroom right under these videos. It is a PDF format of the ones that we normally do in class, and since you aren't able to fill them in as we go like normal, I have filled them in for you, and the stuff that we would normally fill in ourselves are underlined and highlighted in red. So make sure you really pay attention to those. Those are some important information, alright? So, let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is the definition. The definition for a reflection is when you flip a figure over a line. So, we have talked about translations, we've talked about rotations, we've done all these different types of transformation, and today we're doing a reflection, and so that is a flip, okay? That's the most basic form that I can do it. But when we flip something, we have to flip it over a specific line, okay? And the line that we flip something over is called the line of reflection, because we are actually reflecting over that line. Now, remember what we talked about? We talked about that in 8th grade, we're mainly going to worry about flipping over the x-axis and reflecting over the y-axis. We're not going to do any other lines this year, but you can. So remember, later on in math, you're going to be able to flip over any line that they give you. But for this year, we're just worried about the x and y-axis. Let's look at the y-axis first. Remember, the y-axis is our vertical axis. It's the one that goes up and down, okay? Now, when we are looking at reflections over the x-axis and reflections over the y-axis, they look totally different, okay? So, we have to really pay attention to what we're looking at, okay? Now, obviously, this one is across the y-axis. It says it in bright green, all right? But I want you to look at, first of all, which one's my new one, okay? How do I know which one is the new one? There's something specific that I'm looking for. Good. It's this little bitty prime symbol right here. It looks like an apostrophe. That prime symbol is what tells me that this is my new shape, okay? So, this is my new one, which makes the pink one my original, okay? So, when we reflect it across the y-axis, even though that y-axis is vertical, look what happened. My shapes flipped from side to side, okay? And so the way remember, the way we talked about it earlier, it's like you're running, and you trip over the stump right here. You're going to face plant over here, all right? So you're running, and you hit this line. Does it make sense to fall way down here? No, that makes no sense. So when you're running and you hit this y-axis, okay, you trip over the stump, you're going to face plant over into the next one. So when we flip across, or when we reflect across the y-axis, the y values are going to stay the same. Okay, so in our lines, we're going to fill that in. So when you flip across the y, then the y values stay the same, okay? Let's look at that over here. Let's pick one. I don't care. Let's do A because it's kind of out of the way. So, my original A was at -2, 5. Okay. So, -2, 5. And then my new A is, or my new A, or A prime, is at 2, +2, 5. So look at what happened here. My x values changed. Okay, I went from -2 to +2, but my y values stayed the same. Okay, so even though my x values switched, okay, so they went from negative to positive, they did the inverse. My y value stayed the same. So when you flip across the y stays the same. That's how I remember it in my head, okay? So the rules for X are going to be pretty much the exact same as the rules for Y, only they look completely different. So my X-axis is that horizontal axis that runs from side to side. And so you think it would kind of be opposite. Okay, you think since X is side to side, it should flip to side to side. That's not how it goes. Again, act like you're running and you trip over something. If I'm running at this X axis and I trip over it, okay? I trip over it, act like it's a stump. You're running, trip over it, you are going to face plant down here. There's no way if you're running at the X-axis, you're going to magically flip over here, okay? That's just not how it works. Hello? Gravity, okay? So you're running, you hit it, and you're going to face plant down here, all right? So when we reflect across the X-axis, it actually goes down. And so if you flip across the X, then the X values are going to stay the same. So if we flip across the Y stays the same. If we flip across the X stays the same. Ooh, I can't write there. Let's try that again. But as soon as I get through writing this, let's look at the numbers, all right? Again, I'm just going to go with A. It's simple. It's out of the way. So, let's start with my original A. Okay, so plain old A up here at the top. It is at over 2 up 5. So we have 2 positive 5. Then I'm going to go down to my new prime, or my new A, which is A prime, and it is at 2 negative 5. So let's look at those X values, okay? So on the last one, my Y stayed the same. On this one, if I look, my X values are staying the same because when we flip across the X stays the same. If you look at my Y's, it's the same scenario as the other one. Your other one is actually going to flip its sign. So if it's positive, it's going to go down to negative on your Y values, okay? So again, if you're flipping over the X or you're reflecting over the X stays the same. If you reflect over the Y stays the same. Now let's try one, okay? So the question says, reflect quadrilateral MNOP across the Y-axis. What are the coordinates for quadrilateral M prime, N prime, O prime, P prime? Okay. Before we even get started, I know y'all are missing my mad drawing skills, okay? They're so awesome, and I know you are so jealous and you miss all of my lovely drawings I put for y'all, okay? So, that keeping in mind, don't hate on my drawing, okay? So, let's look at this shape, and we will go ahead and, which way are we flipping it? We're flipping it across the Y-axis, all right? So, if it is starting over here, and I'm running at the Y-axis, where is it going to end up? If I'm running at the Y and I hit it, I'm actually going to flip over into this quadrant right here. Remember, it doesn't make sense if you're running right here and you trip to fall way over here. That just does not make sense. When you're running and you trip over this line, you're going to fall into this quadrant. So make sure when you're doing this that your numbers are going to end up over here, okay? So, now, here's the trick with this, okay? It's a reflection. So that means it's going to be exactly the same thing, only flipped over, all right? So, here's the trick. What I do from N is I'm going to see how far N is from Y. Okay, so N is 1, 2 spaces from Y. So I'm going to go, what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I'm going to go 1, 2 over here. Okay, and that's going to give me my new N. So we're going to call that, use a different color, N prime. Okay, there's my new spot. Well, I have to do the same thing for M, and I'm going to actually draw it just a little bit above so you can see it. From here, I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. to get to my y-axis, and what I do to one side, I have to do to the other, so I have to go 4 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means my y is going to be right here. And I'm going to go ahead and call him M prime. Okay? I'm going to actually do that with every single point. So on O, I go over 1, 2, 3. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So 1, 2, 3. We'll call that one O prime. And last one, we have P. It goes over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that makes my last point right here, and that is going to be P prime. So if I did this right, when I connect it, it's going to look exactly the same, only flipped over. All right, if I drew it right. Okay, so I'm going to connect them together. And I'm going to color him in so I can tell. Hey, that actually came out pretty good. Look at me go. Alright. So, does it look the same? Yes, it's just flipped over. Because remember, when you're looking in a mirror, you see yourself. You look exactly the same, but if you hold up your left hand, it looks like you're holding up your right hand, okay? So everything's exactly the same. It's just exactly backwards, all right? Now, are we done with this problem? No, all right? Why are we not done with this problem? Okay, because look right here. It says, what are the coordinates? This is not regular math class where I can just pick up your work and say, oh, you're good. I can see what you meant because you drew it on the paper right here. Okay. I don't get to see you like that right now. Okay. So you're actually on today's assignment, or the assignment that matches with this, you're actually going to have to give me the ordered pairs. And so I need that same thing to happen right here. So we're going to give me the ordered pair. So let's start with M. So M prime is at over 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3, 4. So M is at 4, 4. Okay. Now I got to go to N prime. N prime is at over 2, up 4. So we have 2, 4. Then I have O prime, which is at over 3, up 2. And last one is P prime, which is over 5, up 2. Okay, so remember, on your assignment for this video, you have to give me the coordinates. You can't just draw it and call it good, okay? You're actually going to have to write in the coordinates for me. To find that assignment, you're going to need to go to my Google Classroom, and it'll be there under assignments. It's called Reflection Assignments. Very difficult name, I know, okay? But it's just 4 questions long. It's not too difficult. Again, I'm not trying to give you a ton of work, so because I know you have work for all your other classes too, and this is just new and kind of weird and different, all right? If you need any help, please, 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 please let me know. Their contact sheet is still in my Google Classroom. It has phone number you can call me at, my remind so you can text me, and my email so you can email me at my Tyler email at any time, all right? Guys, you have to ask me questions, okay? I'm not going to be there to go by and say, hey, how are you doing, okay? Are you getting this? How's it going? I can't do that, so you're going to have to come to me on this one, and I will work with you, and we will get this figured out, all right? So if you need any help, just let me know. Bye, guys.